Hey guys, I'm Justin with AFT Construction. We are back at Project Blow Your Mind here, standing on the food truck pad with Dan from Landscape Resources. He's going to keep giving us a little bit of a tour here on some of the plants and the features that we have in landscaping and why we've been doing this for 4 years.
What we're looking at over here to what would be my left is this is going to be the entertainment lawn area. And so the entertainment lawn area is for events. It could be for weddings, it can be for parties, it can be for whatever you could choose. We have some nice size lights, but really what we have done as far as the landscape, we have surrounded this particular event lawn area with flowering trees. And so right here on each end of the property down there and located right here, we have white crepe myrtles. And so these will flower about this time of year in the spring, which is really neat. And then as we go along the back of the property there, one of my favorite trees is the Hong Kong orchid. And so those just finished up blooming about 2-3 weeks ago, but they started around February. Just a beautiful, beautiful flowering tree. And then right here to follow up some of the theme that we have in the front yard, bringing it into the back, this is the pink trumpet tree or the tababui tree. And then we have some jasmine vines, which is one of her favorite plants located up against the house here. And so as we go along over here, we have the entrance into the entertainment lawn area, which is located just behind the pool. But one quick thing that I'd like for everybody to notice and understand is sometimes dealing with these projects, even though it's such a large property here, we have challenges as far as landscaping. And part of the challenges are the amount of pipes for a pool and a spa of this size. They all run right through here. So we were unable to plant anything of any size into this particular area. And so that's why we have this extra large, tall, and wide raised steel planter here. And we have put another pink trumpet tree, tababui tree into here. We have some trailing rosemary and some Powys Castle into here, which helps give some height and some scale up against the tall part of the house here. But also the important thing to note is we didn't block any views from the raised deck up here because they have views looking out the back here, and so we purposely kept the tree and everything that has some height into this particular location here. I think it frames everything real nicely here. Then we have a couple rare plants real quick if we could take a look. This is a desert rose blue hibiscus, extremely, extremely rare. And we have a row of those here, and then we have the white ones followed up right behind the pool deck located right here. And so these are really neat, really rare. And so these just get covered with beautiful flowers right here. They're very hardy, handle our desert heat very, very nicely. Kind of a unique look. Have a long bloom period also as well. And then what that brings us to is the steps down into the entertainment lawn area here. And as you look, we have the flowering trees here, but back behind that, what's important is a number of years ago, we planted some ash trees along the back wall. As these trees mature and we look back here, they're gonna block out all the houses here that would be to the north of the property here also as well. We flanked each planter with some mature agaves as you go down here, and some trailing rosemary also as well. And as we enter the pool area, we have another raised steel planter. This is a twisted myrtle that we have right here. It has nice pretty white flowers and also has an interesting branch structure to it also as well. We're gonna have some base plant material into here. Again, we're not complete yet and we still have to detail the entire property also as well. And then as we go along here, we have honestly kind of minimal planting space, but we wanted to generate as much height and fragrance as we can. And so we have a repetitive theme here going along this side of the property. These are fragrant jasmine vines located right here, and then these are going to be dwarf myrtles, so they're just going to fill in, and then we'll have these vines. We're going to attach these vines to the house located, and again, we just repeat that same theme as we go down the property, this side of the property right here.
Another thing that Dan's helped us with too that you'll see is kind of the drainage. In an area this big to go around the pool with all the pavers and drainage and the pitches of the house, we had to have Landscape Resources help us just to incorporate the drains. So you'll notice like areas like this in the pavers, it's an intentional gap. That's actually the drain for all the water coming from the pool, coming off the roof. And Dan with Landscape Resources helped us get that water out of here.
Massive drains. So each side of this pool here has an 8-inch pipe that goes directly out into the entertainment lawn area. And so what's nice about that, that is a functional space as an entertainment lawn, but it also functions as retention. And so all this water that accumulates here is going to go out and percolate out there. There's also a dry well there to help take any additional standing water deep into the ground so it doesn't turn into a pool back there. The other side of the pool deck actually goes into a different retention area that we'll get to here in a minute. So what you're looking at right here, obviously we have a massive pool. What a beautiful job by Jeremy on the pool and a finer touch here. But what we have right here and what you're not seeing is this area underneath the cover here. This is high flow artificial turf that's located into here. And so this will be a nice area that you can jump off out of the lazy river, use this as a seating area, but it also is going to help provide a little layer of greenery amongst all the hardscape that we have here. We just didn't have a whole lot of planting area, and so this artificial turf will kind of green things up and soften things up due to the amount of hardscape that we have into this particular area here. And then as we look to the other side there, that wall over there gets full western sun, and so that is just a brutal, brutal, brutal spot to have to landscape. It's going to get the reflective heat from the water of the pool, it's going to get the radiant heat from the walls and the pool decking over there. But also the challenge is there's massive amounts of utilities, specifically 8-inch drains that are going through there, irrigation, AV wire, I think there may be gas line, I don't know, but there's so much over there. We didn't have the ability to plant a tree. And so what we've done is followed up some of the same theme that we have on each side of the property with something that's hardy, tough, and durable, and that's the sour orange. And so we have the ornamental sour orange over there, which is going to grow up and create some height and some greenery on that side over there, which the homeowners are going to be happy with, because one of the things, they don't want a lot of flowering and a lot of debris in and around the pool area, and so those are relatively clean plants that are going to be hardy enough and durable enough to handle that exposure. Here we are on the back side of the grotto, very limited space, because it's really important on this property is have connectivity through all the sidewalks so the homeowners can ride their golf carts literally around the entire property and to the adjacent neighbors' properties, which are relatives as well. So we made sure that we left enough room into these areas so a golf cart can easily pull around to this area. There's another sidewalk there. And then as we go into the outdoor recreational sports areas located over here, it also connects to that also as well. This is the back side of the raised grotto, very limited space. We have some fig vines that are going to grow and attach to this structure right here. And this will help us get some greenery into this amount of hardscape in the pool also as well. What we have here into this area is we have a couple more steel planters. These steel planters match the ones in front, so we have some continuity between the front and the back of the property also as well. And they flank each side of the fireplace patio that's located right here. And then as we go along over here in front of the trampoline barn, again, we have two more raised planters located on each end here. And then these are mature olive trees to help bring the scale of this large structure here and also accentuate the entry into this. Underneath each one of these olive trees right here, there's 42 roses on each side as we look at and we enter this, the RV garage here. So we have 42 roses. We have a nice clean hedge that we have going up into here. And then in front here, we have some white bower vines that we're going to attach to the front here also as well. And not only that, but an interesting feature of the property, I'm sure it's been shown before, but it's the water tower here also as well.
Were you guys responsible for that?
Nope. Had no responsibility, thought it was a cool idea. It was something that the homeowner brought up, but a finer touch did a great job with that.
Yeah. I was like, who did that?
I believe it was the homeowner's idea originally, going back, okay? And so now we're entering onto the side of the property here where we have the sports field, but I would like to focus right here into this spot located right here. So why do we have just a concrete pad here? This looks unfinished. Well, what this is going to become is a concession stand, which is going to be really cool because right here, next to the concession stand, we have the viewing deck for the sports field here. And so this is going to be a multi-purpose sports field here. It's obviously a wiffle ball court, but it's also being used as a volleyball court also as well. And so as we pan over here, we brought in 4 mature large elm trees. Again, these are going to grow together. Shade is a very important factor for the homeowners here, so they want large mature trees. These are the umbrella trees. These will be touching. These are going to provide shade not only for the spectators that are located right here, but for the volleyball court and the outfield of the wiffle ball court here also as well. And so that was an important item. And so we installed the artificial turf here to keep green. Green is very important to them. Again, the homeowners do not like to see a bunch of decomposed granite or rock. They want as much greenery as they can see, and so this helps suffice that. Here on our sports field here, as you can see, we have real grass located in the outfield here. In the infield there is artificial grass also as well. A couple dugouts, backstop, and then what's really cool is we actually have a scoreboard located over here. And it'll eventually hold a flag over there also as well. So as we leave this particular area into here, we've developed, this is basically a garden space located over here, where again we have some mature olive trees located over here. And another thing that we have done is we brought in a lot of this myoporum. This stuff was just recently planted a handful of months ago, but you can see as it grows, it's going to cover these rocks, and this is going to be a sea of a green carpet. And then we followed up with the Powys Castle, which is the gray stuff back there. And what that's providing is a nice contrast. So we're going to have nice dark green, and we'll have some light gray to give it that garden look and that garden effect. Back behind the olive trees here, we have, and these are going to be trained into cone shape, we have Japanese blueberries, and we have 10 of those throughout the property located over here also as well. And then we have some Arabian lilacs located right here. And so as we come along here, what we have is, this is kind of a nice garden space between the olives, and then what we have behind, on the other side of the olives are some ficus trees, followed up by the tennis court that's located over here also as well. So as we come down our walkway here, we have nice garden spaces on each side. The ficus trees, we have a total of 4 of them located over here. These are going to grow to be big, massive trees, which the idea behind it is going to help provide shade and some screening to the tennis court area over here also as well. Located there, we have some flowering pear trees, which will bloom white at the end of winter time. And then we have 2 other large elm trees. Remember the umbrella, that's going to provide some shade to the tennis pavilion here and help provide shade to the tennis court. But what's one of the cool, unique features that we have here as we enter the tennis pavilion here is we built this trellis. And so this trellis here has Ladybank's rose vines, and these have been in less than a year, and you can see the size of these. Another 18 months, this will be completely covered with Ladybank's rose vines. And this will be a nice shady area and a really neat look and a really neat effect as you enter the tennis pavilion here. And then we have some really cool lights. So when these light up, as you can see, the shrouds there have little holes on the side of them, so as they light up, it'll give a really neat look and a neat effect throughout the property. The property here is going to have approximately 500 low voltage lighting, and so the nighttime lighting is going to be spectacular also as well. So we're excited to show that off at a later point in time as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so we installed, and we had help with the design of that also as well. And so we have a consultant that we worked with. We do the landscape lighting design also as well, but you get on a project of this size, due to the approximately 500 fixtures, you really got to know what you're doing as far as the wiring. There's a little over 8,000, almost 9,000 feet of 10 gauge wire running throughout the property here. Oh yeah, and another unique aspect is we left a couple holes here. So we'll keep these as we maintain the property here. These will be left open so you can see through and catch some wind through here also as well. So that'll be a nice, neat effect for this. And then later to come, we'll show you the large covered trellis on the other side of the property here as well. Now what we have here is, again, one of our favorite plants. These are the crepe myrtles. And these look beautiful this time of the year, so we have a handful of these throughout the property as well. And with this line of crepe myrtles, it kind of ends the garden space, provides a nice backdrop as you're coming this way. And then what we're entering into now, this is the edible garden space, let's say that. So as we enter over here, so this may seem arbitrary, and why would you do it, is we have a piece of artificial grass over here, but it's actually for a purpose. And so what the purpose of this is if you look there, that's actually a doggy door on the side of the house. So what we have here is a piece of high flow artificial, high flow through artificial grass made specifically for pets. And then we're gonna have a wrought iron fence that connects this corner of the wall over to there. Don't be judgmental, these dogs are about this big. And so that's why that amount of space is all that's really required to sustain the doggy area for the dogs there. So they can't get out and roam throughout the property and the homeowners have peace of mind, especially at night. So what we have here right behind me, this is cool. And so we're getting into our garden section here, and I think this is really neat. So located right here, we have a couple peach trees. At the base of the peach trees, what we have here is this is germander, which is an herb. And so that's located there. Again, the crepe myrtles here kind of separate the edible garden space away from the garden space. And then what we have here is an arched trellis, and I would say by the end of the year, it's going to be covered by these vines. These vines are seedless grapevines. And so what we have here is edible seedless grapes that are going to grow up over the top of this particular trellis here. And then we have another one that's located over here. Again, this is a work still in progress, but we're going to do some neat things over here. Let me show you. So into this space, we're going to build a fence that has 3 wires. And so on those 3 wires, we're going to have additional grapevines coming in through here to complete this area right into here. And this is just going to be a nice quiet seating space area that you can harvest the grapes into here as well. We have both red and green grapes going into here. We have another grapevine here that we're going to attach to this wall located over here using the wires. And then as you look down, obviously this looks unfinished here, but again, going back to the green theme, everything from here around these garden planters out to the sidewalk here, this is going to be artificial grass to get the greenery into here. Located right here, we have some extremely large raised wooden garden planters. And so we're not going to plant those yet until the fall. But once the fall comes, these are going to be full of melons, peppers, tomatoes, anything and everything that you can imagine. And so this will have some nice seasonality to it here. So again, following the theme of our edible garden space, it actually continues back behind us here also as well. Behind us here we have our citrus grove where we have, I believe it's 5, let's call them very mature, orange trees. We also have a white fig tree located over there, and then over here we have a black fig tree. And then something else that we're doing that's going to be really interesting is located over here. So planted up against that wall, we're going to do apple espaliers. So against this wall, we're going to come out, we're going to attach 3 wires that are going to protrude out a few inches away from the wall. And then we're going to train these apples to have the trunk, and then we're going to have just 3 branches going out each side. And so it'll be a cool look and a cool effect of that. It's called an espalier. And so we're going to train those 3 apples located in the corner there to do that. Again, this is work in progress, but we have some of our grapevines that are located over here that are still left to go into the ground. And as we enter over here, we have a number of ash trees here. These ash trees serve actually a nice purpose. So as you're pulling down the street here, and you look over to the right, you kind of see the lights and see the top of the tennis court there. And so what these ash trees are going to do, they're going to grow and you won't see any of this. It'll also be a nice look and a nice shady area to drive your golf carts through or walk through this particular area here also as well. And then as we go along here, continuing the repetitive theme, we have about 250 vines here. And as you look over here, again, these are the fragrant jasmine vines that we have on trellises over here also as well.
One of the ideas you guys had for the property was kind of making sure something is blooming at all times of the year, right?
Yes, and so we have a blend of evergreen, non-evergreen, and then we think of flowering plant material throughout the course of the year. But we also want to focus on fragrance also as well. And so there's certain trees like the orchids and some of the jasmine and some of the roses that finish blooming, and that's when other things are starting to wake up and starting to flower now also as well. And then as we go along here, we have another long trellis here that we have the Lady Banks rose vines on it. So this will be a really neat look and a really neat effect here. And the length of this trellis is actually just about even to the open areas of the tennis court there also as well. And sorry, we still have to detail it, but you can see how close these are already getting to covering. And notice the lights here also as well. And so that's something that's going to, as this matures, it's just going to be a wonderful space to be in. So as we exit the covered trellis here, you can see these are the sour oranges or ornamental oranges that are located on the east side of the property. And these are providing obviously screening from the neighbor to the east over here. But we planted these a few years ago, and you can see the amount of maturity that they got there. So sometimes when you phase in jobs like this, you get a lot of value and a lot of benefit. It would be extremely hard right now to find sour oranges of this size to create this amount of density. So if you're thinking about your project, get a hold of us, get a hold of Finer Touch here, and let's talk about ways to implement some of this kind of early so you can get the benefit of the additional year or so of growth. You wouldn't believe how much money that would save you in the long run. These plants just don't double when you go up to the next sign. Sometimes it's 2 and 3x just to get up to the next size, sometimes it's just an extra 12 inches, when you could gain that if you were to plant it early. So as we go in between the wiffle ball and the volleyball court here, here's the Hong Kong orchid. So it's a really interesting plant. And so if you can see, they're right at the end of their bloom period there. These look fabulous from the end of February all the way up until now. But you look at it and it's like, that looks kind of weird, but let me show you what's going on here. So let's just use this for an example. This was the leaves from last year. It's not sick, there's nothing wrong with it. This is going to defoliate, and then what it does, it produces all brand new growth after that. We call that molting. And so all the old growth is getting ready to fall off, and it's going to push out new leaf growth here in the next month or so.
You know, they always come in the purple.
So the Hong Kongs, these are more of a fuchsia. There's a purple orchid tree also as well. These are more rare. To me, they're more beautiful. I'm more of a fan of these as compared to the purple orchids. The purples have a little white, but this has one of the most unique flowers of any trees that we plant out there, in my personal opinion, but to each his own. These are not always readily available, and they're not easy to find also at times. So if you find them as a contractor, you better gobble them up, or you better tag and pay for them. Sometimes it's better to have it and deal with it for a little while than get stuck at the end. Which brings up another challenge. I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but something else we had to do on the property here. We have over 15 different suppliers of plant material that's delivered stuff to the site here. Normally we use 3 or 4, but this is 15, and it comes from, there's stuff from California to local to anywhere and everywhere. We've also had to go to some retail routes also as well. And so this amount of plant material, you're just not getting on the phone and calling somebody up and delivering it, but it's also done in phases too. So it's just not like you can order 500 little ollies and get them planted in the ground right away. You got to do it in phases. But I don't know, we must have had 50 different semi-loads of stuff coming over the course of the last couple of years. So these Hong Kong orchids will create some nice screening, so you're just not looking at the black wall of the tennis court here. And then through here we have the repeating theme of some roses into here also as well. As you look down here, this is Arabian jasmine bush right here, which is also fragrant. Some consider this bush right here to be the most fragrant of any jasmine, even more fragrant than the star jasmine vines also as well. And then back behind it, we have another kind of a rare plant, but that's a variegated Duranta. Has a variegated leaf, gives a little different color and a little different texture, and has some long blue flowers on it also as well. And that will also grow and create some height up against the tennis court there.
All right, I'm Justin with AFT Construction, and we got Dan with Landscape Resources. We just finished up kind of our walk around the property, showing off some of the special plants that they've brought in, some of the areas that the homeowners love, some of the areas that Dan loves, and the design features that go into it all. So make sure and check back with us as we kind of finish up the property. Dan finishes bringing in some of his special plants into the garden area, and check back and let us know what you guys think.